Fire up your Friday
Fired Up Friday
with Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
I am Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
Over the next hour of this Master Connection series, we will take a deep dive into the different ways to connect and network effectively.
See us and hear us right now. So LinkedIn, we are on here. We're getting ready.
Hear from experts along with Steve Spiro, who went from being shy and introverted to the Master Connector. Fire up.
All right, guys, this is the show. We got the countdown going on. We got the banter going. Steve Spiro in the house, our Master Connector today. Steve, take away the banter. We got 8 minutes and 50 seconds till we get into it. I'm excited.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great show. We're super pumped to have everyone on the show here. We've got Mark Savant in the house and Jacqueline, as well as the legendary Ann Small. All the guests are legendary.
Yes, indeed.
Super excited to cover the topic, the mystery of live broadcast revealed. And I'm sure we're going to cover things in terms of live broadcast. I'm sure we could touch on a little bit of podcasts and a little bit of that too, because when you're doing a lot of these events, it looks like okay, great. Russ made his way on. Hey, Russ.
He's here. We're counting down here.
We have the pirate stealing the show here, Mr. Russ John in the house here. So, but yeah,
we have the amazing Steve. I'm just saying we have the amazing Jacqueline Vasquez. We got Mark Savant. We got Ann Small. We got Russ Johns, the Master Connector himself, Steve Spiro here. I just want to remind everybody that's tuning in live to this show, make sure that you are liking, sharing, shouting out your city and state, your questions, your comments. The more specific the question, the more specific the comment, the better. We love providing that insight and that help that really brings everybody together. If you got the question, somebody else has the question. Steve, back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, and absolutely. If when you're on here, definitely make sure you're connecting, you're networking with everybody on the chat. Make sure you're reaching out. We're all about connecting here. So, reach out, make sure you connect with everybody, and also, take this link and send it over to your friends and people in your network and share the love. Right? We're looking to get the word out here. So definitely make sure you're sharing this with your network. Obviously, my awesome panelists, definitely, you as well, right? Get this out to your network if you haven't already. Let's get this party started soon. It's going to be an amazing time. One of the things that we realize, it's fun because I guess it was asked in the little private chat we have here, but it was asked, when do we end? And we've had some shows that it was like nobody wanted to leave the show. So we were having such a good time, such great chemistry that, a lot of us stayed on. So, but yeah, we technically are supposed to go to 3 p.m. Eastern, but typically it kind of rolls over a few minutes because of just such a great vibe and energy. So, but very excited to have our panelists here. And of course, Mr. Cameron Toth, who is the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, making the magic happen. Some of you guys know the story. I had been approved to LinkedIn Live. I think it took about 5 weeks and I got approved, which I was shocked about because people were telling me how long it took them to get approved. Or still some people still waiting. And I said, Cameron, what am I going to do? And he's like, let's collaborate. I'm like, man, I was hoping you'd say that. And so, but the reason I was so excited, number one, he's an amazing guy, got incredible talent, great way of doing things, but he's also really good with the techie stuff. I'm getting better every day. I'm learning really a lot of good stuff from Cameron on this. So he's going to be a great resource to this conversation as well. But definitely appreciate you, Cameron, and all the magic you do behind the scenes for sure. We definitely couldn't do this without you. That's for sure. So
thank you for that, Steve. And I want to make sure that we get a chance since we got a little time before the show and we get so heated into the discussion, but like referrals and testimonials, I just wanted to shout out Jacqueline Vasquez, always been a great member of my team, and Small, since she's been introduced to us, been commenting like crazy every week. Thank you so much for being on the show today, but also a part of the community. Thank you so much for that. Mark Savant's been on Biz Dev Live, and you guys, I'm so impressed. Mark is like embarrassed of me, but I'm like, this guy, every time he speaks on the microphone, I'm in awe and just bowing down to the audio mastery that he's able to bring. Russ Johns and I are new contacts, so Steve's going to have to speak more to Russ Johns. We just got introduced, but I can say Russ Johns sent me one of, we talk about like the video greetings online and using some of those services. He sent the best video greeting via email and LinkedIn that I've seen in a long time. So we really do have some folks that are in and around. Jacqueline from the event side, Mark is doing it all the time, and community managing. Russ is the video master apparently. So we really do have a great expert panel today. Steve and I have been on this adventure since last year, putting this together and really building up the community and the engagement week to week. I wouldn't say we have mastered live broadcast by a long shot, but we're definitely far ahead of those that aren't doing it at all. We do it every week, so it's going to be an exciting show, and I'm looking forward to people's questions.
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. We certainly are learning every time. Every show we learn something new. We're always growing, right? So, and we're definitely getting getting better each day. And to answer your question, so Mike Paterano connected me with Russ, and I'm so blessed that he did. Mike was on our show last week, and Mike's just an amazing connector. After we connected, he introduced me with some amazing people, and of course, Russ Johns was one of those folks. And I think I'll be on your show as well, Russ. I think that was scheduled for a couple of weeks from now. So I'm excited to be one of the pirates on your show. It's pretty awesome.
You're always welcome. Always welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's cool. Number one, John, Russ, you've got I can tell you have an incredible heart, but also at the same time, you got an amazing beard. And so it's just cool being in your presence, sir. And thank you for being here. And of course, Ann, as Cameron mentioned, Ann, you've been a blessing to us, and I know you're a blessing to Annie, to Fanny Dunnigan and her show, and a lot of people. I know what you're doing with Blessed by Networking, right? The organization that you're a part of and you help manage. And Mark, you're a legend. Obviously, I'm glad that Cameron connected us, and of course, same thing, Jacqueline as well. So appreciate you guys. We're going to have an incredible time together. So very much excited about that. For sure. So definitely, if you're on with us on LinkedIn, definitely make sure you're telling us your city, states. Oh, looks like we got Braden Daniels, who is one of our panelists, the magician, the leadership magician on the line. He was incredible. If you happen to get a chance to get back on the show to see some of the pre broadcasts, he was amazing. And it looks like Nathan is on with us. So welcome, Nick. Make sure you tell us where you're from, for sure.
Yeah, we want to hear from where you're tuning in from. We have folks tuning in from all over the United States, and then we have some folks that are tuning in internationally, like Austin from Ecuador in the past. Hey, we want to hear from you. We want to know where you're tuning in from. Please share this with your network. Let people know we're down to a minute. So I got another. I'm going to share this video that we got today for our panel. I'm going to stop this screen and I'm going to share this other screen, making the technical fun work. Here we go. And let's see if I can make that work. Make sure to remember to share the audio. And here we go. So fun little video. Let's get us started. All right, that was the end of the video instead of the beginning. There we go. Here we go.
Fire up your Friday.
Fired Up Friday
with Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
Make sure you're sharing where you're tuning in from.
Master Connector.
Over the next hour of this Master Connection series, we will take a deep dive into the different ways to connect and network effectively.
See us and hear us right now. So LinkedIn, we are on here. We're getting ready.
Hear from experts along with Steve Spiro, who went from being shy and introverted to the Master Connector.
And a little music to fire us up. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
The audio's a little bit low on the music, sir.
Always got to get us fired up with the music. So that is the intro to the show. So today we're talking about live broadcast. I'm going to introduce all of our amazing experts here. So I'm going to go through it here. So bear with me as I push some buttons and make this all work. So I want to introduce first up, we're going to talk about Ann Small. So I'm going to put her up on the screen. Here we go. So the amazing Ann Small. So she is the president of Blessed by Networking, bringing people together for a monthly event and promoting what members are doing. She encourages people to be the light wherever they are. She's a community manager, and this is how we got to know Ann Small, the community manager for the Fanny Dunnigan Show, the amazing Fanny Dunnigan, and does such a great job of touching the community in so many different ways. She's by the way, she's the founder of Blessed by Networking. She's a LinkedIn social media strategist and the community manager, right, for the Fanny Dunnigan Show, which streams live every Thursday at 4 p.m. She is somebody that really turns conversations into leads. She builds your reputation. She's somebody that really can help you. Reach out to Ann with a message right here on LinkedIn. Schedule a call. Check in with her. Welcome to the stage, the amazing Ann Small. Why don't you say hello to everybody real quick, Ann? Off the mute button.
There we go. Cameron, that was quite the introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I am flattered.
Pleasure. And it's really been something. I just want to say a special thank you because I know you've been great in our community as well. We really appreciate you. I'm going to go over to the amazing Jacqueline Vasquez. With over 20 years of experience in the event industry, Jacqueline Vasquez is the founder and CEO of Lifetime Events by Jacqueline. She is a master wedding planner and certified wedding and event planner. Jacqueline is an industry expert, educator, mentor, speaker, trainer, and author recognized internationally. Jacqueline is known for spreading her inspiration and motivation, her passion to educate and share knowledge in her industry with the United States and internationally, including China, Europe, Caribbean, Latin American countries. She is classy and inspiring. And she is somebody that is the top notch of the wedding industry. So excited. She's always been been in and around my computer as I've been on this Biz Dev Live journey. Thank you so much for being here, Jack. Would you care to just say hello to everybody? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Cameron and Steve.
Appreciate you, Jacqueline. All right, we're going to go over to Mr. Mark Savant, master of audio over here. Mr. Mark Savant, digital media agency owner of Mark Savant Media. He's the host of a popular video podcast called The After Hours Entrepreneur. He has over 550,000 YouTube views. He's obsessed with leveraging social media to help clients reach more people. Mr. Mark Savant. Thanks. Welcome to the stage, man.
Cameron, pleased to be here. Excited to get into it because let's face it, the social media landscape is changing every day. It's impossible to keep up. If you want to keep up, you're in the right place. Let's get into it, bro. Let's go. All
right. We've got one more introduction here, and then we will be into the conversation. Mr. Russ Johns. Russ believes that you have the opportunity to be seen, be heard, be talked about, and that everyone has a gift, a mission, and value. Sometimes we need help in creating our message with words, images, audio, and video. And this is what Russ Johns specializes in. Reach out to him. He's going to help you with your content creation strategy. Reach out to Russ. Welcome to the stage, the amazing Russ Johns. Nobody has a better beard. Best beard in the business. Mr. Russ Johns, welcome to the stage. Come off mute and say hello.
Hey, thank you, everyone. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share a couple of ideas, conversations, and unplug the mystery of live streaming and what it takes to get online and be seen, be heard, and be talked about.
I appreciate you, Russ. Thank you so much. So here we go. I'm going over to our master connector, Mr. Steve Spiro. Mr. Steve Spiro is a martial arts black belt and master network. He has moved from being a shy, introverted kid to the master connector he is today. Steve Spiro is a certified customer communications consultant with Quadient, where he consults and mentors companies to help them find more effective ways to work with their customers. Steve Spiro believes in the power of mentorship, growing oneself through self-development, and continuing to create meaningful connections through building a large network. Welcome to the stage, the master connector himself, Steve Spiro. Please get our conversation started off, Steve.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Cameron. And so, no, you never introduce yourself, but I got to give a shout out to you. Host of Biz Dev Live every Tuesday, every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cameron also at Biz Dev Live Networking at 12 noon on Tuesdays Eastern Standard Time. Founded the event. Toth event staffing company, pivoted amazingly. He still has that company, but has pivoted in an amazing way. And just appreciate you being the guy that does all the magic behind the scenes, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain here. Really appreciate you. So, but yeah, this is going to be an incredible time. And I think I told a story in the pre-broadcast that when I got approved for LinkedIn Live, I'm like, oh man, what the heck am I going to do with this? Because this is, I'm like lost, right? So getting a chance to work with Cameron has been a blessing. We both learned. I've learned probably a lot more than he has because he seems to be an expert at this. Been doing his live broadcast for quite a while. But it's going to be a great show, and we want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to ask questions. If you have any thoughts. We're not looking at, this is not just for people that are trying to go live broadcast. If you're curious, right, that's why we called it the mystery of live broadcast revealed, right? So, a lot of people just want to know. It's not necessary for people that want to be, an expert at live broadcast, but just curious how it all works. So definitely looking forward to the banter on, on stage here, and definitely make sure you're asking questions in the comments. Make sure you're sharing this out to your network. We're going to have a great a little less than an hour with as we dig into this. So appreciate Cameron, all that you do, sir.
Oh, thank you. So we want to get the conversation started. Why broadcast? So Steve, if you can jump into this, I'm just going to shout out a few of the folks here that are jumping in. I wanted to highlight Fatima checking in from Morocco, official longest distance virtual check-in that I see so far. I want to shout out Yolanda Chen checking in, Mr. Chris Janewski checking in from Yonkers. So excited, everybody in the chat. And Small, I'm like trying to go through because you're so wicked in the chat. Thank you so much for being active there. Paul Lucas checking in from NYC. We got Vic, we got Braden. So excited for everybody. So why broadcast, Steve? And then who wants to jump in? Tell me on the back end and I'll get you on next.
Absolutely. So yeah, so why live broadcast? For me, it was just another way to reach this incredible viewership, right? I mean, I have a goal eventually being talking on a TED Talk stage and traveling the world and inspire people and speaking across the world, and so this is another way to do that, right? It's a great way to reach people. I love the fact that it's live, so there's real interaction. There's nothing, video is great, and podcasts and video casts, it's all great. But when you have actual live interaction, there's a certain magic to it. There's a specialness to it. And I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I think also the participants, the viewers, I know, but I believe they're also excited because they're part of the live broadcast. It's pretty wild. So, to me, it's just another way to reach in a very deep, profound way, and reach people, and also part of my personal mission, which is like Ann Smalls and Fanny Dunnigan, and I know Cameron. It's our mission to be the light, and so this is a great way to reach a bunch of people. So appreciate you guys, and look forward to hearing everyone else's responses.
Thank you. We got Oscar Capel checking in. Nice to see you, Oscar. Vic Nathan checking in from Irving, Texas, right? Thank you so much, everybody, for checking in. Keep those comments coming. We want to know where you're checking in from, but also we want your questions. Why are you broadcasting? Why are you interested? Why are you here today? Let us know. Go ahead, Jacqueline Vasquez.
Hey, thank you. So I agree totally with Steve. And then I just want to add that it's an interaction, right? An interaction to create your brand, show authority, And for me, traveling internationally in the event industry and communicating on so many different platforms and levels, I wanted to use broadcasting to cultivate that trust, right? I cultivated it in person. Now I want to bring it into the broadcast level. And I tried different platforms. And for me, I feel so honored that just being a part of different platforms, being a speaker on different platforms, it has allowed me and shown me the journey as to what I should be doing. And for me, I started on live and different live Instagram, and I haven't done live Facebook, but it's just taken me to different journeys, and it's taken me to YouTube.
Yeah, no, I think the media cachet is a big deal and a big part of this. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I think Jacqueline hit the nail on the head. It's all about engagement. I think that a lot of times people that are new to social media or maybe don't have a full understanding of how this works, they post it and they forget it. You know, they post a quick little picture of a burrito from their stand and then they don't worry about it. But what's really powerful about live video is being able to engage with the audience. And we're seeing this continuously evolve, right? We're seeing audio only platforms like Clubhouse come to it. By the way, for everyone, if you're not on Clubhouse, you need to think about it. You need to hit me up because Clubhouse is a phenomenally spectacular, powerful way of engaging with people live. I've made some huge connections there. That's really what I'm focused on. But also what I love about live video is it's really easy to get value for your time. So for example, you can use a program to stream live to multiple platforms at once. When I go live, I use a program that allows me to go live to 4 platforms at once. I'm able to engage with people on 4 platforms at once. So you can really magnify your message. I'm just excited about all the possibilities and all the different evolutions that we're seeing with live video, Cameron. Really excited about it.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a big deal to be like mentally and emotionally present in that live video piece, right? You're watching YouTube, I can pause it, I can go on, but to be mentally and just completely emotionally invested in it because I can actually engage. The Clubhouse reference, I think, is a big deal. We get so much excitement and get jazzed up just from the participation of the live audience. Go ahead, Ann.
Let me say, first of all, Jacqueline, everything that you said, live broadcast, why? It gets you in front of people too. And the live thing is so authentic. It's how we show people who we really are. And the fact what Mark said about engaging, I am all about engagement. That would be like my #1 thing to say today. Connect with everybody in the comments because this is the place where I have built an amazing network.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's one of those things too, right? You want to build something on LinkedIn, who better to engage with than people that are engaging on a feed, right? Russ, did you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I want to toss another idea out because I think it's important for us to understand that if you've ever been in an industrial district and drove down a road and seen these buildings with kind of nondescript names on them and illustration of, you know, they do something in there. And it's always nice to be able to have a conversation where you peel back and attempt to understand what other people are doing and highlight some other people in the industry and kind of give others an inspiration about, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that. It's like buying a car, a red car, and you never see the same model until you buy one. And then the next thing you know, you see them everywhere. And it's this idea that if we inspire and motivate other people to think bigger, think larger, and think that they can, then it's really important to us to be able to do things that are important in the community and become. Dang. That was
Russ is popular. He's got the phone ringing off the hook there.
The phone has been ringing off the hook. But the point is that we have an opportunity to share and highlight each other in the community. And what that does is it builds momentum, it builds the conversation. And then all of a sudden people are asking you, they're coming up to you and saying, hey, I like what you're doing. I like your energy. I like your information. Can you help me as well? And it goes back to what Ann was saying and Mark was saying, is like, it builds the authority and it builds your visibility in the community.
All right. So I think we talked a little bit to it, before Mark was talking about live broadcast tools. We use StreamYard. What are your favorite and effective broadcast tools that you could use? And I know I just mentioned some software, but I know like Mark's got some equipment in terms of hardware that he's using, favorite mics. I'd love to hear all of your best tips, things that you've sort of gotten a sense of. We've talked a little bit about lighting and camera equipment on the show. We don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but just some real quick things from each person would be great on what are some things that you like using, easy to access for folks that are trying to jump into live broadcasts. Who wants to jump in first?
Yeah, I can go there since you called me out by name.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first off, I just want to encourage everyone, everything that you have right now is enough. If you've got one of these sitting on your desk, you can go live today. You might want to flip it right side up, right? But you can go live today. That said, you want to first start and then incrementally add on new piece of technology. You can get a great rig like you see here for less than $150. I mean, it's USB. You can connect it to any laptop. It's super simple. I have an entire YouTube video, Mark Savant Media on YouTube, an entire YouTube video that kind of highlights exactly how I set it up. But I think first off, you want to focus on the audio experience. You can always buy a great webcam as well. But listen, start with what you've got. You can, and if you're ready to take that step, if you really want to invest in sounding and looking better online, $100, $150, you can sound like a professional. And just doing something like a Zoom call, you're going to stand out. The second thing that I really think is important is lighting. Again, for less than $100, you can get a very good lighting setup. You know what? I'm going to give you a little behind the stage pass of two of the main items that I love for lighting. So I'm going to get you behind the stage. Is anyone naked back here? No, we're good. Okay, cool. So as you can see here, I've got a ring light. Very, very simple. You get one of these for like $20. And then up here, this is a softbox light. This is probably the most versatile light that you can purchase, less than $100 for something like this. So with these two lights, you can dramatically improve the quality of your lighting. And even if you don't have a light, just go in front of a window. I have a window that's facing me right now, and using that natural light is really, really powerful. Cam, back to you, bud.
I appreciate that. I am going to fly over. I think Ann wanted to jump in next, and I think there we go. We got her in two places. There we go. All right, go ahead, Ann.
Okay, first of all, that was perfect timing to talk about live broadcasting because I got kicked off the internet for a second there.
Yeah.
So let me just follow up with what Mark said. There's no time like the present, guys. It's never going to be perfect. Don't try to make it perfect. Use what you have. Use what you have and go for it. And you're going to have to wing it no matter who you are because stuff happens when you go live. So whether it's a phone or whatever. In fact, Shay Rowbottom, if you follow Shay Rowbottom on LinkedIn, she just did this specific topic recently about how she just started with what she had. So that's a great tip, Mark. Just go for it, guys.
Yeah, I love it. And there's a guy by the name of Brian Fanzo. He has a great Amazon shopping kit too as well. I don't know if Mark, do you have a shopping list on Amazon? I don't know that you have one that's publicly available.
Yeah, they're all linked up to some various videos on YouTube. Really what I try to focus on is providing as much value as possible. Instead of just giving a list, I like to say, here's a video that breaks down what items you'll want. But yeah, I absolutely do, for sure.
Yeah, no, I was just going to mention, just because I know for folks that are like starting out and trying to go, I know I've sent some people because I've had some experience with the ring light, and I got another little LED light over here. So just to kind of give people, listen, this is what I use. It works for me. You don't have to use it, right? But hey, this is something that actually works. I know, Jacqueline, you wanted to jump in. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say ditto. It's like what I would like to add to that is basically two things. Really understand yourself and what message you want to share and feel comfortable. So test out, like Mark said, the phone. It is just you do some videos for yourself and then see what your comfort level is. And also find the right spot for you to feel comfortable, beautiful, arrangement or a little space in your one of your rooms, which is a special spot for you, that it gives you inspiration. Just really feel out the space that you're in. For instance, the space that I have here is strictly just for this, for my little studio here. But it took me some time to really get comfortable with it and say, okay, what is it that I need for me to feel comfortable? And then adding those ditto pieces of the ring light and a great camera as well, because it's important for you to feel like you're really showing your full potential with a clear camera, and an excellent microphone as well. My husband invested in a great mic for me as a surprise. So definitely.
Yeah. The microphone thing is key in figuring that out. I know I've bought different things, and so if you can get somebody that knows what they're doing and come in, which I'm currently looking for, if somebody wants to take pity on me, I could definitely use a call on that to get my audio system a little bit better. But I have a Blue Yeti mic, and hopefully I sound all right. But because I go live every day, I'm always looking to kind of one up my game. I wanted to welcome. We got Fanny Dunnigan checking in the comments. Thanks so much for being here. We got Jake Jordan checking in. Thanks so much for being here. Love your input. Love your comments. I want to keep it going here. Russ, did you want to jump in on the tools?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and I have to amplify everything that you've said so far, everybody that shared so far, and just start with what you have. The first lighting that you can use is a window, in front of a window, and just let some natural light come in. Also, there are some actually LED lights that you can go to a large box store that sells, lighting and supplies. And there are certain lights you can get that are, in tune with the natural light and a simple fixture. And you can actually bounce that off a wall and gain a lot of light for a very inexpensive price. It doesn't require ring lights. And then, like Mark said, you could use, then you can upgrade to an umbrella, a reflector, or some sort of a light box that you could install that in. Make it simple, make it easy, and do it so it works for you. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be what everybody else is doing. Just adjust it and tweak it and make incremental improvements every single day.
Love it, Ross. Now, I think one of the things too, as we're talking about this, I know Ann's got a lighting tip. How do you create engagement, right? So we're talking about live, we're talking about the tricks and everything, and that's great. But if you're not actually, especially with live, right? If you're not getting the engagement, if you're not creating these touch points and building on community, what's the point, right? So, I know a lot of people are like, well, should I do a live? What's the benefit of it? So I'd love to go around and talk about what the benefits are. Obviously, we talked about, it is the engagement, it is the mentally, but, there's the downside to it, right? For me, live broadcast was definitely the thing because I'm not great at post-production. So it was a way to get out of doing post-production, just go live, put it out there, get it done. And that's been something that's really worked for me in terms of creating content. I started back in basically the end of March, beginning of April last year, creating content. And so I've created 217 episodes of Biz Dev Live, really, really strongly because I didn't have to post-produce episodes. I was able to go live, speak my speak, talk my talk, interview folks, and create that content, put it up, set it and forget it in a lot of ways. But in addition to the fact that I'm creating content, it has allowed me to create contact points and engage with the community. StreamYard's been a great tool for that because we've been going live to Facebook and even to Twitter with Periscope and on, YouTube. Limited engagement on YouTube, I want to say, but definitely a great place that over time, having that media cachet is great for your personal brand and your business. So talk to us about effective ways that you have created engagement with your live broadcast and ways that you will, based on what you've learned in the past, kind of create more engagement going forward. And I know you had a lighting tip, and then maybe you're a great community manager, so you can definitely address this as well.
Okay, my lighting tip is really simple. I was so scared when we had to do a lot online about broadcasting and the whole technology part. I was used to doing it live, like at an event. My lighting tip was from Jake Jordan, who taught me don't have the light behind you. Make sure the light is in front of you. So for everybody out there, even if it's a window, you want the window in front of you, not behind you. That's my big lighting tip. As far as engagement goes, you can create the best content in the world. And, Fanny Dunnigan is known for her amazing content tips. And she will be the first to tell you, though, with the most awesome tips and the greatest graphics, if you don't have a network commenting, then where is it going to go and what is it going to do? So where do you start? You look at a few things on your homepage and you comment. You go to one of these lives and you comment. You just get to know people. Hit a like on somebody that's already commenting. Reach out to them. It may seem hard, the engagement part, but it doesn't have to be hard. It's one of those just start things. And guys, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want your questions. Thanks so much for sharing this out. We got over 25 people watching on the live broadcast right now. Please, we want your questions. Share this out with your network. We want to provide value. So what are your questions on live broadcasts? What have you done? What's worked? What has not worked? What do you like seeing in live broadcasts? We want to learn from you as much as we want to provide value to you. You can provide value to everybody here on this stage by letting us know what you like seeing and what you enjoy seeing in a live broadcast. Steve, I know you want to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple things, back on the, on the live broadcast part of it, minimizing distractions is also important, right? And not to make fun, because I know he's a great sport, but we saw from Russ, right? One of the things, you make sure your phone is off, right? Make sure, if you're going to do broadcast, one of the things I've learned is I restart my computer, right? So that I can minimize. I wound up getting a hardwired connection into my laptop so that so you just try to minimize the potential for any kind of errors. But I agree with everybody that talked about it so far, which is just start where you are. I mean, how I got started on this journey is I basically were doing, one take videos, right? And they weren't live, but I was treating them like they were live, because if I stumbled a little, if I stuttered a little, okay, fine, whatever it is. It's like it's live, right? So just start where you are. But in terms of the question that you asked, Cameron, right? So for me, I shout it out from the rooftop. Everywhere I go, everyone I'm speaking to, I take a decent amount of networking calls every day and, go to networking meetings. Everywhere I go, I'm speaking about it. And not only that, but I'm making sure I'm sending out a link with the particular event page. I found, and I learned this from Cameron, if you're going to do a live broadcast, make sure you have an event page about it. And then you could connect the link on that event page, but get that, event page out, get the link out, talk about it everywhere. So everywhere at the end of my conversation, every networking call I have, I'm putting out an email, and that email is, hey, I hope you can join us, this Friday or tomorrow or today. I spoke to 2 people today, and I basically talked about actually 3 people today. Talked about today's, live event. So it's just getting the word out everywhere you can. And that's what I find to be effective in terms of getting the word out.
I just wanted to piggyback because I was watching Mr. Steve Spiro's Fired Up Fridays that he puts out every Friday on LinkedIn. And he was talking about if it's not on your calendar, right? So setting up, your time management and your calendar. So it's meaningful for you to make sure that you have things. And one of the things, I'll just say this as we're talking about the calendar, the way that I've been so consistent with my Biz Dev Live show is I put it on my calendar and it's a non-negotiable. Like people are like, well, I want you to come and do this business thing, or I want you to, do this or that. I have a show at 11 a.m. I've treated it like I'm, on CBS News and I have a show to go to every day. I wish I was getting the CBS paycheck. I'm not yet, but I've treated it non-negotiable, right? It's on my calendar. It's a serious thing. And so it gets done. And I did that because I had posted videos in 2009, 2010. I've been listening to people that are really savvy and know what they're talking about. I've mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk as an inspiration before, and all that, but I had seen it, right? So I was hearing it, but I was also seeing it because I had posted videos on YouTube, and those videos from the nonprofit that I was working with that I had posted up in 2009, 2010, they generated 40,000 views in 10 years without YouTube thumbnails, without keywords, tag words, but over 10 years, some of those videos have been viewed thousands of times, others only 100 times or whatever. But, there was no intentionality. I was like, if I go live every day, if I do it and I'm intentional with it, there's no way that in 10 years from now, that isn't going to create something special for me. So it's really about, where am I right now? Where do I want to be 10, 20 years from now? What are the actions that I'm going to take to make sure that I'm getting there? And for me, it just was an obvious thing. Video, I was seeing it, I was hearing it. This is what I got to do. This is what I got to do to make the impact that I want to make on the world. I know, we got so many people wanting to jump in. All right. So Russ, and then Ann, and then Mark, go ahead.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I want to amplify what you had suggested, is that after hundreds or thousands of podcast episodes and hundreds of live stream productions, I have learned that I really don't enjoy the post-production process. So I go live. I'm like you, Cameron. I go live every single day, 7 a.m. Arizona time, every single day. I've been doing it for a long time, over nearly 400 episodes. And I just want to make sure that you do what you need to do in order to be consistent and clarity. And then also recognize the fact that there is the expectation that things will go wrong. You'll get dropped off the internet. Your phone will ring. Inadvertent interruptions will take place. And that's okay. We're living in life. We're doing what we need to do. And just stay consistent, stay positive and upbeat, and it will still come back to you. And, it's really about just showing up and doing what works for you, because it's really, if you get in the comfort zone and you continue to pursue it, then it's much easier, and it doesn't become work. It becomes something that you enjoy every day. Wake up with gratitude and have a positive impact on the world and motivate and inspire somebody. What better attitude can you start with?
I love that. And I want to shout out to our community here. Kevin Hand, to me, the key to live broadcasting is not just having a good message to present, but to do it in an interesting way. Also, your message should show differentiators between your info and the others that might be presenting similar messages. Love that, right? Being unique, being your authentic self, so important. I know that we have Ann ready to jump all over it. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to say something about Kevin's comment. What a great comment that is. Okay, so even though you have a message, to do it in an interesting way, let me give you an example. Braden Daniels. Yesterday on the Fanny Dunnigan show, we had Braden Daniels. If you don't know him yet, actually, he was on this show. So if you don't know him yet, you can go back and look at that too on one of the YouTube lives. He leads like a magician. So it was a combination of leadership and entrepreneur and all these great things, but we had magic tricks and they fit in there. Super interesting. And then what Kevin's saying about the importance of showing how you're different. We can do the same things as 100 other people, but it's so important to get in on what's your niche. What makes you different? Be that. You're the only you. Be that. Great point, Kevin. So in fact, below, everyone on here, what's your niche? What makes you different? So we can plug in and get to know you.
Mute, sir. 2020 Thieves on.
Woo! First time. All right. We'll see if we can prevent that from happening again. All right. I was trying not to have the ticky tack of my typing. All right. Jacqueline Vasquez, talk to us a little bit about your niche as you jump in here on this way to create engagement with your audience.
So for me, it comes from an educator background. In the event industry, not only am I an event planner, but I have also been an educator over 10 years, a mentor, and a speaker. So I am approaching my new platform from that point of uniqueness as to how I already know what my what people are looking for. They're looking for simplicity, and they're looking, whether they're starting out in the industry. So I know what the messaging should be. I want to keep it simple for them, which is why I created my new platform, From Basics to Success. Understanding, giving them a piece at a time, and in my genuine way, my unique way, so that they can move ahead and succeed on their own terms.
I love that. And if you wouldn't mind, because I think this is something, especially as things are opening up and people want to take advantage of, momentum maybe they've gained during the pandemic, or momentum they've lost, depending on the point of view that organizations and situations are, from your event background, and also from social stuff, because we're still going to have a hesitancy to travel. What would you say for events are some of the, maybe a couple key things that people need to be looking at in terms of live broadcasting their events?
Well, it's interesting, because one of the things that I have kept away from since the pandemic have been virtual events. I've left that to some of my other colleagues who have jumped into it and have been doing amazing things. But that's one of the things, like, really understand what your comfort level is, and what your goal is. You can't say, okay, I want to do it all. Yes, you can, but will you offer the quality content and quality of everything? For me, I don't want the headache right now, maybe in the future, of will the internet go down? Will everything, like, I want to focus my attention to something else. So, when it comes to my industry, is just the focus on virtual events and virtual platforms, getting that knowledge, if that's the case for the industry.
I love that. And I just want to, before I head over here to Steve, I just wanted to, I'm going to go to Mark, and then I'm going to go to Steve. Just to remind everybody to like, share, hit those thumbs up, clap emojis, support, heart, insightful, curious. Share this out with your network. I know that we're providing a lot of value here, so make sure you share. And one thing that I'll say to folks today, and I just put in my YouTube link, and I always kind of feel guilty, and I think this is a common thing if you're promoting yourself. There's some people that might not feel guilty. I know I do. Asking people to subscribe, but inviting, Steve talked about it before, we laid into it, but inviting people in, that is the way that you're going to sell more. If you're a business, it's the way that you get more engagement. Invite people in. There's nothing like an invitation. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah. So, so many great points being put out there, but I want to just kind of piggyback off something that we're talking about with the events, right? Because one of the cool things that happens is you become more comfortable speaking on camera, more comfortable live streaming, more comfortable engaging with people, is maybe you don't host your own live events online, but maybe you can start applying for live events online. Last year I spoke at the Dad 2.0 conference, both in person in DC right before the world went crazy, but also virtually. And then this year I spoke at the PodFest conference, which is the largest podcasting virtual conference, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. You may have heard of them, but listen, if I had zero comfort, if I had zero experience, I would have zero chance at actually being approved to go and speak at that conference. So if the idea of hosting an entire live event is a little bit overwhelming, you're probably in the right place. So what I would encourage you to do is start getting comfortable with live video and posting video regularly, so you can stay top of mind, so you can be seen as a thought leader, so you could start to develop relationships with these wonderful people, just like I'm seeing on stage. But now you're going to start to have more opportunity to get in front of, when I spoke at PodFest, I was in front of 1,000+ people. Never would have had the opportunity if I hadn't already taken the steps over the past 2 to 3 years to bring myself to this place. So I just wanted to highlight that, it's a process. You start, your first video is going to stink, and you just get better and better over time. And then opportunities start to open up.
I could definitely speak to the stinking part. Go back, look at early Biz Dev Live episodes. It's a fun difference between what it is now and what it was then, and still trying to get better every day. Right. Definitely appreciate that piece of it. Right. Steve, I know you wanted to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, it's interesting, right? So I think we all have a story to tell. And, mine is, shy introverted kid that now is the quote unquote master connector, and how I've been able to get out of that dark place, that isolated place. And so this is a great venue to do that. But, eventually, and not everyone wants to do this, but for me, the goal is to speak and to be in front of large crowds, large audiences. So if your goal is to eventually do that, being live is a great way to kind of prove that you could kind of, grow those skill sets. Right. And, I know Cameron's been on me about making sure that I say a lot less and stutter a lot less. Right. Because it's true, and rightfully so. Right. So the more you do, the more you get better at it. And I know Cameron mentioned it before. I was going to mention it as well, how he's gotten better. Some of my videos that I've done, over time, I think have gotten better as well. The more you do, the more better you get, the more comfortable you are. And it's a great way to, so to me, it's, if you lead with your vulnerability, lead with who you are, not try to be Mr. Perfect, you'll get better over time. But that's a great way to engage. People love authenticity. They love transparency, and they love to see your heart. They don't need to see Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, right? So just be yourself, and you'll have a great time engaging a lot of people, and they want to come see what you. I heard it said once a long time ago. They said, "Light yourself on fire, and people come out to watch you burn." So just go get on fire.
And we've seen it, right? We've seen it from members of our community that have taken that risk, put themselves out on video, and there's a lot of engagement. And I think, the challenge is, and we talked about it here, okay, you put out that first video, and because nobody's seen that from you, there was a lot of engagement on that post, and then you put out the second one, and then crickets. And then you say, oh man, it isn't working. Right. So, people were referencing patient. I talked about, over the long course, just sticking with it and going long with it. But consistency and building that engagement. Yes, it might be crickets on the second one. It might be crickets on the fifth one. It's interesting. I know Mark's experienced in the podcast space, but most podcasts don't make it past number 7. Right. So getting to that point where you're just going to commit and say, I'm going to spend 6 months doing this. I'm going to spend a year doing this. I'm going to do 2 years on this and then see what it looks like. You'll get a lot better on the way, and you'll see the results. You'll see things come together. I wanted to shout out Vic Nathan here. And I have to throw myself under the bus a little bit, as my profile isn't up to date to reflect my niche, which I'm still figuring out how to correctly brand. So I think that's a common question, and I wanted us to kind of address that. He didn't put a question mark on that, but I'm going to put the question mark on that. How should people brand themselves with their live broadcasts? What are things that they can do? I know Fanny's in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Jake Jordan, love to hear from you. What are ways to brand yourself in the broadcast? Who wants to jump in on that? I think I saw Mark jump in. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. So like you said, Cameron, this super, super common question. What do I post about? What do I create content about? And the answer is, Vic, you create content based on what you want to be known for. And there's another great comment here as well from Kevin. Kevin, I completely agree. Be genuine, be real, be transparent. If you're not already an expert in a topic, bring people along for the ride, right? Because nowadays people definitely see through that facade that so many people put out there. But just let people just be honest and create content, again, based on what you want to be known for. And quite frankly, you're going to start somewhere and you're going to evolve. Your niche is going to evolve. Your messaging is going to improve. It is a process. But Vic, listen, you're at the first step, is figuring out, okay, I need to get more thoughtful about my niche. I need to get more thoughtful about my messaging. It's a process. I started my process about 2 years ago, and I'm still evolving. I'm still a work in process, but I love that question. And I'm glad that you asked it, Vic. You're in the right place, brother.
Love it. All right. We're going to go to Steve, and then I think Ann's got, I'm going to have to read this and then come back to it. All right, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah. It's funny. A lot of great points are being said right now, right? Mark, you got a lot of good stuff. Everyone's sharing amazing tips, right? But yeah, be yourself. Just, whoever you are, just start from there. Right. And, but I think the question was regarding, how to brand yourself, right? That was the question. So obviously you can see behind me, I've got the Master Connector, right? I figured out that was my who my alter ego, right? Who I am, what I'm about. So, and we named this the Master Connection series to kind of play off of that, right? We've got certain colors. I kind of picked up on that from Cameron, right? He's the Mr. Pink shirt, pink tie guy. That's his brand color, right? Look at that. Yeah. So it's exactly. So it's the colors, it's the logo, it's the look, it's the, I like the green screen behind me, so we can also talk about and have the brand recognition. But again, don't get hung up on it. Just start wherever you are. But those are some great tools that you could do to be able to, continue to grow your brand and consistency of that message, of that look, of that look and feel is very, very important as well.
Yeah, and I want to say this, as we've done this live broadcast, Steve and I, you can sort of see, going back to the earlier episodes, you can go to the cards that our 10K cards that are up there. We'll put some links in the chat, Steve, if you will. If I get to it, well, one of us will get to it. But to see like the beginning episodes, I think it's really interesting for your brand to evolve because it keeps things interesting. If you're seeing the same thing all the time, it's not interesting. So we've kind of like leveled up. Things gotten a little bit sleeker, some different branding, some videos, some different fun stuff. I've even worn a cowboy hat for the show, not my regular attire, right? We've done some different things, and I think that keeps it fun and interesting. So I don't think you should let that be something that slows you down, like saying, oh, I got to have my brand all figured out. No, just go and have some fun with it. And as you evolve and as you change, it'll give people an interesting thing to watch along with and enjoy the ride with. Russ, I know you wanted to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you notice, I'm all about the pirate. The pirate broadcast is it goes back to the radio days where if you didn't have a license and you didn't have permission to broadcast and you broadcast anyway, you're considered a pirate broadcaster. So nowadays we're living in the most amazing time in history where we can actually pick up a phone, we can start broadcasting, we can actually produce content, and we can actually put it out there to the world. So I really like to nurture the idea that kindness is cool, smiles are free, and it's part of the pirate community. And I use the pirate broadcast to provide the experience that people can have for the pirate syndicate, which is the business side of the equation, where I can actually promote the brand and then utilize that brand to expand the message across the pirate community as well as the business community. So I think it's just find something that works for you, that has a message and a story behind it, and just continue to adjust it as you go along the way, and make sure that you're just like Steve said, just incremental improvements every day make a big difference in the long run.
Yeah, I love that. The incremental improvements, right? It's for everything. It's not just live broadcast, folks. And I think we talk about that. It's a common theme on this show. Get better every day. And to that point, Ann, I know you wanted to jump in on profiles. This is a LinkedIn show. So one of the things, for everybody that's tuning in, questions on your LinkedIn profile, what you're doing on LinkedIn, always welcome. This is what we are focused on. This is what Steve Spiro's built in terms of his very, very large network on LinkedIn. We're all about the connections, right? This is the Master Connection series. So your questions on LinkedIn are always appropriate. So definitely put those comments in the chat. We want to hear from you. Go ahead, Ann.
Thanks, Cameron. So the two things that I really focus on LinkedIn are strategy and also the engagement part as a community manager for Fannie Dunnigan. Now, when we're talking about LinkedIn strategy, Vic brought it up earlier with his profile, that he has to update his profile. Well, let me just give everybody a hint. On the top of your profile, instead of putting a ton of titles there, I help you. What do you help people do? Because that's prime real estate on top right there. It telling me that you're just the president's not going to get me to necessarily hire you. I help you what? Using what? So that what's the end result? So like I get you in front of your targeted audience using LinkedIn strategy so that you have more prospective clients right there. And then somebody can reach out. If you're really into live broadcasting and that's your thing and you're on a number of shows, or maybe you're a guest on a number of shows, use that about section. Where am I this week? Put it right there. That's prime real estate, guys, for everybody. So I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody.
Thank you, Ann. As I'm engaging in the comments here, throwing up the cards so people can see links to those shows. I know that now I'm trying to catch up in terms of profile. Sorry, Mark, did you want to jump in?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, when we're talking about branding yourself, there's just so much that goes into proper branding, and it's definitely a process. But I put this in the comments too. By far, the most important thing is being clear on your value proposition. I can't tell you how many people I ask, what do you do? What's your show about? And it takes them, I don't know, 3 to 4 paragraphs to explain what they do. You ask me, Mark, what do you do? I help you build your brand online, period. You want to show up online? I can do that for you, right? And that clarity is so important. I work with a lot of podcasters as well. And one of the things that's so common in the podcasting realm is these really clever, unique type of names that doesn't work. You have to find something that's searchable. Like for example, if I'm looking to collaborate with someone on LinkedIn, I'm going to type in a particular topic, right? Who is it here in the comments just a moment ago? Paula's talking about mixology, right? What is your demographic searching for? What are they going to YouTube for? What are they going to Google for? What are they going to LinkedIn? What are they typing in? Because if the name of your brand is like John Smith and you have nothing after that, they're not going to find you, and we could go really deep on search engine optimization and how that can be maximized with the words that you speak and the way that these platforms are transcribing your words. We go super deep on that. But again, I implore you, everyone, be clear, just be as clear as possible. Don't be clever, be clear. And I love how, again, I'm going to give a shout out to Paula here. Experience hospitality professional. That's very clear, right? And the more clear you are, the better you're going to be, the better you're going to stand out. And the more easy it is for people to say, okay, this is someone I want to follow, right? If I have to click on your image and then start reading through text after paragraph to find out what it is you actually do, and by the end I'm scratching my head, that's, you need to work on it. You need to shorten it up and be clear. And that would be my big takeaway on branding. Super important to be clear.
I love that. And I'd like to jump into this sort of idea of, Paul was saying, I recently taught my first virtual mixology class. It was great, but I really missed the in-person aspect of it. So many people, right? Dealing with that big challenge, right? The idea that, we're used to doing live events. I'm used to that audience interaction, and I'm just not getting it in this virtual world. On the flip side of that, especially for folks that have built a very large social network, you look at somebody like a DJ D Nice, and then certainly there's bartenders that, have created a great big following on TikTok, for example. For those that, were in those spaces, they were able to capitalize. So I would say it's one of those things that get comfortable, get used to it. If you can't be in person now, try to get comfortable with it now. Because as you go to the physical space, right, when you have a bar behind you, that's the point where we go back to some of Mark's first comments on the show. Look at this, take this device while you're in that environment, right, and go to work. Document. Then it's not even about content creation. It's just about documenting. Put the record button on. There's definitely some great apps like TikTok that are great for video production. What do you mean TikTok's a video? It's a video production tool. I was watching my daughter, and it just really, for other people that, the light was already on. For me, the light came on when I saw my daughter basically producing a full-on music video in the park with her siblings, right? She's creating this thing, kind of emulating something else that's on TikTok. She's doing the cuts. It's matched up with the music. My 14-year-old. So you can get comfortable with the tools. You can use them and take advantage of them, get really popular, make a lot of money, have somebody else do it later, but get it comfortable with it right now and finding the easiest way. You heard Russ Johns talk about it, doing the live broadcast. It's just a lot easier. You heard me talk about that. So there's lots of different ways to get into it. There's a comfortable way for you to do it. I think a lot of times people get into comparing what they're potentially doing with what somebody is already doing. And that's a place you don't want to be. All right. Who else wants to jump in here and talk about, and then we'll actually, you know what, this is a good time. I'm gonna switch gears here. What are your kind of closing out remarks? What are your, your kind of best tip for really starting on the live broadcast journey and killing it in the long term? I'm just going to go around. Jacqueline, if you can go first, and then I'll have Mark, and then I'll have Ann, and then Russ, and then Steve will close us out. Go ahead, Jacqueline Vasquez.
Sure. For me, again, being genuine and all that, but it's really, I had a thought in my head and now it left.
It's all good. It happens to the best of us.
But just being on platforms, I know one of my colleague panelists mentioned, it doesn't mean that you're producing the show. It could mean that you're on another broadcast, being a co-host or one of the speakers or panelists, just like this. When it came to this whole conversation of broadcast, and I had the initial conversation with Steve, and Steve, thank you so much for inviting me, and Cameron. But I want to mention that because it was key for me to really understand the realm that I was already working on something, on a project. And when Steve mentioned, I would love for you to, I want to invite you to be on this, on the mysteries of broadcast. I'm like, what? I'm not an expert on that. And, for a minute, I was doubting myself. I even reached out to Cameron and I was like, I have some more questions. And then I really thought about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm currently doing it. I do it on different levels. And it's what it was just mentioned. Don't compare yourself with anyone else. Go and do what you currently do. What is it that's calling you to broadcast? What's the content that you want to connect with people on? For me, my content is surrounded around the event world, but it could also overlap into other professions and other types of platforms. So for me, it goes from national to a global platform. Yeah, just trust in yourself. Trust that you can do it and you don't have to look back. Just use what you can.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's so important. Yeah, no, and I remember that conversation, Jack, and I was like, what are you talking about? You're an event producer. You create the live event all the time.
It's just that switch. It's like, and it's just really understanding that don't put so much thought into it. And I'm like, but I already do this. I'm like having these conversations, but yeah, just be genuine, be yourself. For some reason, it was, Steve said he saw something based on our conversation, that 15-minute or so conversation, he saw something. So really, trust in yourself, trust your gut, and share a genuine piece of yourself and the messaging that people love to hear from you.
Yeah, and I'll just tack on this before we go over to Mark, that sometimes the best thing that you can do for somebody else is to give them that compliment, because sometimes we're doubting ourselves and we don't think we can do it, or we don't have that particular talent. Our hair doesn't look good. Give them that talent. I remember, from my mentor, he's sitting across from Bill Clinton. You can think about whatever you want to think about Bill Clinton, but he was, president of the United States. And so, Bill Clinton leans across to my mentor. He says, man, that's a really nice tie. That's the moment he'll remember forever. Right. And so, lifting people up, making people feel good. You talk about people being able to build, community, these top politicians, whatever you think about them, they got that talent down. So reaching out people, inviting them in, lifting people up, it is a great way to build your network and build stronger pathways into people. Mark, jump in here.
Yeah. So, I could go on and on and on. And again, I got a ton of great content on my YouTube channel, Mark Savant Media, to kind of help give more resources in a nice formulated way. But I think the thing that I want to just implore to everyone, hey, if you're here, by the way, you're on the right track because you're spending your time wisely. When I'm working with business owners on live video, creating content, generally speaking, what people want is they want to be seen as a thought leader and they want to stay top of mind. You're an attorney, you're a real estate agent, you're an insurance agent. You want to be you want to stand out. You want to be top of mind. And it could be that live video is the best thing for you. It could be that live audio is, but that might not be. There's a lot of different ways that you can go. And it's a long process, right? But what I work with when I'm working with clients, I say, let's put together an 8-week plan based on what you want to accomplish. I have an entire team that manages all the video editing on the back end. I do one-on-one coaching with the client to make sure that they're actually executing and learning the skills. And then we post it all for you as well. Because at the end of the day, I find that what most people want is they want to be seen as a thought leader. They want to stay top of mind. They just don't want to sacrifice 20, 30, 40 hours a week focusing on learning social media and learning on how to handle all these different processes. So, listen, there's a lot of different ways you can go, but at the end of the day, be clear on your brand and then focus on how can I stay top of mind and how can I be known as a thought leader? And it takes time, but if you can be focused and you have the perseverance, you could be immensely successful in this digital world.
I love that, Mark. And jump in.
Okay, Cameron. Well, gosh, there were so many great points made. First of all, encourage one another. Love that, Cameron. That is so important. So much of what we see on social media, we think that people don't need that. They're doing great. Well, no, that's not true. Everybody needs to hear once in a while what you did, what they did that meant something to you. So give those compliments, encourage other people. If I were to give one huge tip today, it would go back to being true to yourself, okay? Because when you're true to yourself, you need to know who you are. You need to be confident in who you are and what you stand for. From there, if you need to hire somebody else to do your social media, because that's not your thing, or whatever's taking away from time, the time that you need to do what you're good at, you can hire somebody else to do that. Focus on the big question of the day. Who are you? What do you stand for? What are you trying to accomplish? Go to that. The rest you can get help with.
Love it. Russ, close us out here before we go to the Master Connector.
Yeah, I echo what Ann just suggested, and I want to amplify what Mark and Jacqueline was saying about just showing up. Life is something that we practice. We practice every day, and give yourself permission to be okay with where you are, what you have, and what you're doing. Because ultimately, there's always going to be somebody in front of you and somebody that you can help them along the way they're behind you. And it's really about lifting others up, encouraging people, being connected with individuals like we are today, and making sure that we're all sharing a common goal and a common good, and making sure that we can actually amplify the message about improving ourselves, improving the people around us, and helping each other out. And it's just, live video is a tool that we can use. And if it's not for you, just make sure that you have what you need to move forward with the message that you're producing and what helps you produce the best results for the time you have.
Love it. Thank you so much, Russ. Steve Spiro, close us out. I know some people need to jump. We're at the top of the hour. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We want to hear what you thought about today's comments in here. Thank you so much. Steve Spiro, Master Connector. Give us your tips. Close us out here.
Absolutely. So I want to share something a little bit intimate with you guys in that, for years, I never thought I was enough. I really didn't. I would look at people like you, Cameron, and I'd be like, man, I'll never be Cameron Toth, right? And some of the amazing panelists on this stage with us. And, I learned is I'll always be a second class somebody else, but I'll be a first class me. And it took a lot of years. My prayer for you is it doesn't take you as many years as it did for me to become okay with me, to be comfortable with me. The second thing that once that happened is I was able to put a personal mission, life mission statement together of what I want to accomplish on this earth, right? Not what what car I want to buy, not what kind of, where I want to move the house, the mansion, none of that. I mean, that's fine. But what's the purpose here? And I'm reading a great book about purpose. The title is escaping me right now, but you want to come up with something. And once you've defined that purpose, then coming up with what your brand is, what your message is, it's super simple, right? So for me, the message for me is, hey, shy introverted kid to the Master Connector, right? So let's help other people get out of their comfort zone. Let's connect with other people in a way. Let's get out of this isolation, let's get out of this dark place, and let's be the light. And so that was mine. And so what I love about this platform, what I love about live broadcast is we have a chance to touch people. So hopefully you guys are engaging. Hopefully you're in your own way. And again, little baby steps, you don't jump all the way in. I mean, I started on LinkedIn with just some picture posts, first verbal posts, picture posts. Then I started the video, and now we're doing LinkedIn Live, right? So baby steps, but I'm telling you guys, it is amazing. We are in a great place today. I know there's a lot of optimism now, starting with the vaccinations are getting out. We're we've got obviously a new administration, and a lot of people are optimistic about that. But regardless of your situation or how your beliefs are, we're moving forward. And I believe, again, it's our mission to be the light. So let's shine our light. Let's go ahead and be the light to this world. And there's still a lot of suffering people. So that's what I want to say to you guys. If live broadcast is your platform, fantastic. If whatever you got to do, just be the light. So thank you, Cameron, for all the things you do.
All right, so we're going to count this down. And just before I do that, I just want to announce next week, we have the Art and Science of Language with our panelists, Carlotta Marzell Davis, Janice Drew Burnett, Amberly Lago, and Stephen K. Thieringer. Please join us next week, Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be excited to bring you the Art and Science of Language. We're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, and we will say crush it together. Steve, lead us off. 5,
4, 3, 2, crush it.
Crush it, everybody. Have an amazing week. I'm going to play us off with our music. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We will see you next week.
Fire up your Friday.
Fired Up Friday
with Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
I am Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
Over the next hour of this Master Connection series, we will take a deep dive into the different ways to connect and network effectively.
See us and hear us right now. So LinkedIn, we are on here. We're getting ready.
Hear from experts along with Steve Spiro, who went from being shy and introverted to the Master Connector.